Today I've got Anshuk Aggarwal, co-founder of AdYogi, the ROAS first performance automation platform powering D2C growth across Meta and Google, Amazon and more. And IIT Bombay plus ISB brain, he's turned ad ops into software that scales revenue, not vanity metrics. So today we have on Find Out with Ragini Anshuk Aggarwal, who is the Gyani and Yogi when it comes to D2C brands in India. You are literally every performance marketer's dream when it comes to having a brand on board AdYogi. Thank you so much, firstly, Anshuk, for coming on Find Out with Ragini.
Thank you so much, Ragini. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Now, the first question that I would like to ask is, how does a marketing? No, sorry, you were in IIT. You were in IIT, then you went to IIM.
I went to ISB.
ISB. So how does someone who does MBA becomes an ad guru? How does that happen? So tell me about your journey.
Yes, it's actually, it was not planned at all.
Okay.
So when I did ISB, I wanted to do consulting. So I joined a consulting company, one of those management consulting companies. ISB is known for a consulting background as well. Worked for a few years in the consulting company. Incidentally, in 2014-15, we had some M&A and I thought that I want to just try out something in the analytics space. So I took a 1-year sabbatical from my company. I said I want to build a data broker, which I saw in the US, and started selling data in India.
Okay.
At least that's what I thought I will do. But then I realized very soon that it was very difficult to sell data in India because people who are buying data, they still need to figure out a way to get value out of it. And a lot of brands which I spoke to, they said, Anshuk, can you actually do the end work for me? Which means use this data and get to reach out to my potential customers and get me business. And that's how I got a nudge towards marketing. And in fact, I never really thought I will do anything in digital marketing because at least in my ISB days, I used to purposefully skip all the marketing courses. I always thought marketing was very faff and very generic. And I would do more of the finance courses because that will give me good grades. And 10 years later, I've invested a decade of my life in digital marketing.
So how did the name AdYogi come into the picture? That is a really cool name, by the way. And how did that come into the picture?
Thank you. I'd like to give the credit of that to my co-founder, Rohin.
Okay.
So what we did is we wanted to have a .com domain. And .com is obviously everybody's dream in that sense.
Right.
So we had like 30, 40 iterations of .com which were available. AdYogi particularly got suggested by Rohin. We got the .com, so we immediately bought it.
Okay. So no origin story of that name. You just like, jo hai mil raha hai le lo.
Jo hai mil raha hai. Plus we also had a preference of starting with ad.
Okay.
There used to be a lot of companies start with ad. It just gives an indication that you're in the ad space. So anything with ad and maybe a shorter word, maybe like a 4-6 letter word, which has a .com available was our criteria. Yogi was of the 50-60 iterations we tried.
Where did you get your first clients? And if somebody is watching, where do you think that they should scout for them and how do they go about it?
Yes. So getting the first client, honestly, there is no recipe to get that. I think every founder has to really hustle to get their first set of clients. In fact, in our case, it was a very interesting story. So I actually happened to attend a Google Startup Bootcamp. And this was 2015-16, somewhere around that time, when we were still figuring out how to sell data in India.
Right.
And I got across to one of the platform players in India, and the name was Zepo, Z-E-P-O.
Okay.
And I spoke to the founder and he said, Anshuk, I have a few brands who want to do marketing on Facebook and Google. Would you be keen to do that? And I was like, okay, somebody is willing to pay us money, so why not give it a try? So he actually connected us to one brand, boutique brand in India. The brand was called Fancy Pants. And
I do remember, and I think they're still your clients, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We worked with them for the longest period of time, from 2016 to 2023-24.
Yeah.
And at that time, there was no concept of D2C.
Right.
So D2C actually got coined much later, I think almost around 2018-19.
Right.
So we used to call them as online brands, selling on their own brand website.
And they were like very big on Instagram. I still remember. I have a lot of pieces from the Fancy Pants store. So I know that brand really, really well.
Okay, well, that's amazing. So Janki and Suti are the two founders of the brand.
Okay.
So Rohin and I both sort of got connected to her. You cannot imagine the first campaign, the first budget they gave us for a month was 5,000 rupees for the same whole month. And here it was Rohin and me, both founders, sitting on like the Facebook, Google dashboard and really optimizing that 5,000 rupees for the whole month. Now I just think, I don't know what we were doing for the whole month, but at the end of the month, we happened to get 18 sales for her. And I still remember that number. Back then, of course, the cost of acquisition was much lower.
Right.
And I still feel that if we hadn't got those 18 sales, then I think we would have never continued the e-commerce path.
Right.
That first success sort of gave us a lot of confidence that we can add value.
And now that 5,000 has gone to 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, whatever, like I know for a fact that AdYogi doesn't work with small brands and people who are just starting out. Do you? Or my question rather would be, if I am a brand and I'm coming to AdYogi, give me your pitch.
Yes. So I'll in fact tell you the first answer also, and then I'll come to the pitch as well.
Yeah.
So usually, see, the way we position ourselves is we are like the growth partner for the brand, right? I have realized that when your brand is in very early stages, what they need is more than a growth partner. And I'll tell you what I mean.
Yeah.
So if you're just starting your website, you need someone who can help you with the pricing, who can help you with the cataloging, who can help you get the logistics up and running, who can get your payment gateway up and running, who can help you figure out that how do you set up your Facebook pages, Google My Business. We have realized that we are not able to do that.
So that is where Fynd comes into the picture.
Absolutely. That is where I think Fynd does a fabulous job.
Yeah.
And that's where we sort of not able to come into the picture because we are like the marketing partner.
Right.
Our goal is if a brand is able to get the first 5, let's say for example, first 10-20 lakh of revenue a month, chances are they are post PMF stage. They have got their product market fit, they have got their website up and running, they have got their logistics up and running, and that is when AdYogi comes in. Our goal is how do we scale them from, let's say, 10 lakh revenue a month to 1 crore revenue a month, in many cases 10 crore revenue a month.
Oh, wow.
And that's the growth journey we have done. In fact, we pride ourselves in saying that we have at least around 12-13 brands where we work with, where we drive more than 100 crore annual revenue for them. Wow. On their D2C website alone.
So if anybody who is watching right now and the folks are they have found their product market fit, they know they have a very robust platform to work on, they should come to AdYogi probably and start. And what is the starting budget, if I may ask, so which you guys work with? Because it is important and imperative to know that the brand has reached that stage and now it's time for them to come to AdYogi.
Yes. So usually a good, I would say, ballpark number could be something like if you're spending 5 lakh rupees a month, chances are you're already doing more than 10-12 lakh revenue a month. Right. And that is when you actually become a very good fit. Like I said, 10-12 lakh revenue is like a crore revenue annualized. Yeah. And that 1 CR to 100 CR journey is where we specialize in.
So now I'll ask you the basics, Anshuk. So what is performance marketing? How is it different from digital marketing? Is performance marketing a subset of digital marketing? How does that work? So just lay down the basics for us.
Yes. So performance marketing as a term, I think, got coined in the last, I would say, 10 odd years. And it's actually a very tricky term because performance marketing is like a subset of digital marketing, right? And the traditional understanding is performance marketing is more ROS focused marketing, which is basically typically your bottom funnel campaigns. Right. And then you have something like a mid funnel or a top funnel campaigns. Right. Top funnel campaigns can also be called as brand marketing, right? But the reason I say performance marketing is a tricky word because it gives you a feeling that the brand marketing is non-performance marketing. And that is something which I don't fundamentally believe in. I believe in it's both the brand marketing and the performance marketing which actually give you the performance. But think of performance marketing as more direct response marketing, where you actually run a few campaigns and you get sales on, let's say, the same day or the next 7 days. So you can actually measure the outcome in terms of sales and ROS. But I would still say that brand marketing also performs. So which is why I don't fundamentally like the terminology performance marketing so much.
So what do you call it? In your words,
we can call it as direct response marketing, which basically leads you to direct conversions. And brand marketing could be called as brand or top funnel or mid funnel marketing as well.
So I've heard this from a lot of brands that we went on Facebook, we went on Meta, हमने product boost कर दिया, and हमें बहुत सारी likes आ गए. But we didn't get any conversion, तो बंद कर दो, performance marketing doesn't work. What do you have to say for such brands and how do you correct them and how do you correct their path that this is not the right way to go about it?
Correct. See, the thing about performance marketing is one very, very critical aspect of it is close the feedback loop. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Because it's a direct response marketing, people are expected to click on an ad, they go to your website, they add a product to cart, then they go to the checkout page and they make a purchase, right? Now, Meta has like 200, 300 million people who are like super active on Meta and who could be a part of your TG, right? Now, the question is, how would Meta know that which are the people most likely to make a purchase, so that Meta can now start targeting those people in your direct response or performance campaigns, right? The only way they can get to know if you pass back the signals from the website back to Meta. And this can be done using Meta Pixel. They have a pixel where you can configure all the events, right? So for performance marketing to work, the 101 of performance marketing says that you need to get your pixel configured correctly, and you need to give as much feedback back to Meta and Google so that they can optimize the campaigns. The thing is, when you're boosting your post, typically boost posts is think of it as more of a brand sort of a thing, or maybe a mid-funnel. There you're not passing back these signals. There you're just saying, okay, look, I have a very nice post. I have a lot of followers on Instagram and Facebook. Maybe I have people in my second degree connections. Please boost these posts to all those people.
So they can see and they can like the post and everything and know about that brand rather than shop. So from this conversation, do I infer the fact that a lot of likes doesn't necessarily mean conversion? And a lot of followers doesn't necessarily mean conversion. You have to work towards conversion for your website.
100%. In fact, one of the things which we did 10 years ago, now of course people are more aware about it. 10 years ago, people used to follow likes and shares and views as one of the North Star metric when they were doing digital. We were among the first companies in India to say, yeah, we don't care about likes. We don't care about shares. The only thing we care about is actually conversions. And that is how we have worked in the last 10 years also. I'm super aligned with you. Likes don't lead to conversions, shares don't lead to conversions. We have also seen in many cases, ironically, even add to carts don't lead to conversions.
Really? Can you speak more about this? Because this is very interesting. What does that mean?
So we have seen this very funny trend that when we run campaigns on Meta, optimizing for add to carts or optimizing for view content, which is somebody came on your website and actually viewed the page.
Right.
So many times we have seen that we end up getting a lot of view content, we get a lot of add to carts, but the conversion post add to cart actually goes down substantially.
Yeah, I've done it so many times. I've seen an Instagram ad, I've added to cart, I've left it, and I've just like not done the checkout. So how do you sort of go back and convert the customer? What do you do there?
Yes. So we have realized that you need, whatever metric you're giving to Meta to optimize, that needs to be as closely linked to a PNL as possible. And I'll tell you what I mean, right? So you have an add to cart, then you have a purchase, but more often than not, the purchase could be a cash on delivery purchase. So you have an online payment wala purchase, and then you have a delivered order, and then you have a non-RTO delivered order, which the person does not return, right? We have seen that your PNL is directly linked to a non-RTO delivered order, right? So if you pass back that metric back to Facebook and Google, and you tell Meta, please optimize for my non-RTO delivered order, you get the best set of targeting done, right?
Wow.
Because AI is very, very intelligent and very advanced these days. The right signals you pass back to AI, the better your campaigns get optimized. So I'm going to the extent of saying even a purchase is not a good enough signal.
Wow.
It has to be a non-RTO delivered order signal which you can pass back, and now Meta has allowed you to do that.
I mean, this is, I think this is a revelation even for me as someone who's already running a platform, that we usually only talk about purchase events. Nobody talks about the end result, that the product has reached the customer and customer has decided to keep it, not return it, and that is where the North Star metric is. I wanted to speak more about COD, though this question was supposed to come later, but let's talk about the double-edged sword that COD is. And this is very interesting because from what we have seen with a lot of brands, the COD rates are extremely high. Brands are wondering whether we should even keep COD. Not keep COD. So my first question to you would be, we know that India is a huge market. COD is still the preferred mode of payment. What are your views on COD? How do you optimize it? Tell me everything about COD that is to be told to the customers out there.
Correct. So see, D2C by nature has this element that you're going to a independent website and making a purchase, right? Unlike a marketplace where you have an AdYogi or a Myntra, where you have a brand where you're making a purchase, they have some confidence that, look, if you order from Myntra, it's the Myntra brand which is protecting you, right? On the D2C, customers do understand that it's the brand website you're ordering from. So there is always a level of slight bit of discomfort, distrust coming into that equation, that what if I make the payment and I don't get the order, right? Who will I chase? If I go back to Meta, I don't know something will happen or not. If I go back to the brand website, I don't know whether customer support will respond or not. So there is that element of distrust. I do believe over a period of time that anxiety is starting to come down a little, but what we have seen is even today for bulk of the D2C brands, around 60 to 70% of the purchases actually come from cash on delivery. And even if you break that down into new customers and repeat customers, I would imagine, and I can check that number also, within new, the share of COD will be much higher, even higher than 70, right?
Because they don't trust your brand
Exactly.
as of now.
A repeat customer has got the product, they have used the product, so chances are they have more trust on you and they're ordering it again, which means they like the product as well.
Yeah.
So they will still be okay to order an online order. But for the new, it's a challenge, right? They don't know about the brand.
No, so I agree to this. I completely agree that you are a new customer, you don't know about the brand. But what about the rogue customers of India who just, because we have faced that in Fynd also,
Yes.
in GoFynd.com, when we were running ads, we used to get massive number of orders, but it was never delivered. The RTO logistics cost was way up high
Yes.
above the roof,
Yes.
right? It simply happened because we didn't maybe optimize our campaigns, or there were like rogue customers coming in. There is Fynd loot, there are Fynd, and there are videos right now on YouTube also that you
Okay.
can find
Okay.
loot. So how do you sort of work towards that? Are there any fraud protection or anything that AdYogi does to help consumers or to help brands rather,
Yes.
in terms of protecting their COD orders, in terms of reducing their logistics costs?
Yes, yes. So there are a few things which can be done. I would probably break it into two brackets.
Sure.
One is what can you do from a marketing point of view. Second is what can you do from a delivery point of view.
Right.
We are actually more involved on the marketing side of it, but on the delivery also we have some thoughts which we have worked with brands on.
Sure.
On the marketing, our recommendation is two things. One, you can start excluding audiences,
Okay.
which are like common COD defaulters, if I may call so, across brands.
Okay.
So there are third-party data which comes in where you can actually say that these are the people who typically order but never accept it. You sort of exclude them from all the campaigns. That's one thing we have tried for brands. Second, we have also...
Where do you get this third-party data from?
So most of these checkout partners, like something like a GoQuick
Yeah.
or a ShipRocket, typically has this data of people who usually do COD but never accept the order.
Right.
So we have done some sort of a partnership with them time to again, where some of our brands who are keen to do that, we sort of exclude this audience for them.
Right.
The second thing we have done with brands is again optimize for online purchase orders,
Okay.
and not optimize for any orders, right?
Okay.
And I'll give you a small example. Suppose you have two campaigns running, right? And both of them you probably spent like ₹1,00,000. Both, let's say, got you 100 orders. Now, the first campaign got you, let's say, 60 COD orders, and this is probably a tier 2 campaign. And then you had a metro city campaign which got you only 40 COD orders, which is lesser percentage. Then you can allocate higher budget in your in the second campaign,
Yeah.
purely because it has a higher share of your online orders, right? So what we can now do is by passing back these matrices, every campaign can now show you percentage of COD in the Facebook dashboard itself, and then you can optimize based on that. Right?
Wow, so that is actually helping a lot of brands to understand where do you actually put more money on, and
Yes.
optimize more on cash, not on cash on delivery,
Yes.
but more on online
Yes,
payments.
yes, yes.
Yeah?
So you start to nudge your Meta campaigns and Google campaigns to reach out to the higher quality audience, and not just the audience which is coming on your website and doing cash on delivery.
Right. And we have also seen a new interesting trend. You mentioned like ShipRocket checkout, Razorpay checkout, GoQuick.
Yes.
We have seen that they have also started taking some amount, small amount of money
Yes.
in COD, like 100 rupees, 200
Yes,
rupees,
yes.
so that you know that this order won't be, returning back to origin.
Yes, yes.
Is that working out? Is that not working out? Is this picking up? Are customers paying for it?
Yes.
Not-
So till about a few years ago, our recommendation used to be don't penalize the COD customer,
Okay.
but give a passback benefit to the online payment customer. So we
Okay.
used to have this concept called prepaid 5, prepaid 10,
Okay.
basically saying that what the price you see on the ad copy is the price you get,
Right.
because that is the 101 of digital marketing. What you see is what you get.
Right.
So we typically say that if you're advertising a product for 1900, let that 1900 be the price which the customer eventually pays, even if he or she does COD, right?
Right.
And we used to tell, look, you can do a prepaid 5 or a prepaid 10. So somebody instead of 1900 can get it 10% off if they are making online payment.
Right.
I personally believe this used to work really, really well. Lately, we have had options where you can add a certain price for COD, but I feel customers are slowly getting accustomed to it, that they know that if you pay by cash on delivery, you have to pay that 50 rupees extra.
Right.
So that has also started to work now. Till about a few years ago, the moment you charge 1900 ke upar, even a small amount, people will drop off because they have made a mental anchor point that I'll get this product for 1900. And even if you make it 1950, we see a lot of dropouts happening.
Right. So you have explained the marketing side of it, Anshuk. You have told us that what all you can optimize for in terms of marketing in the campaigns. What about in the platform side of it? So I remember we were having a conversation once and you told me that, a lot of brands need to also optimize their address checkout page, their OTP verification. So can you speak more about that? What do we do in the platform side to ensure that we have not less COD orders, but we have orders which actually get delivered, the non-RTO orders? So what are the changes that folks can do on their platforms?
Correct. So a couple of things we have seen. Number one, we have seen that if there are any COD charges or any, let's say, cash on delivery discount, let's say online payment discount, I think that information needs to come on the product page itself or sometimes on the top banner itself.
The announcement bar.
Yes, announcement bar. So that people can mentally get prepared that when you go to the checkout page or the payment page, there are these additional discounts or cash on delivery charges which are going to get applied. The idea is don't surprise the user, sort of tell them whatever it is ahead of time so that they are mentally prepared. Second, of course, some of the basic UI UX things, that if you can do a phone number validation, maybe an OTP validation, if you can do an address validation, at least we'll be confident that the address and the OTP number they are giving in is correct. We've also seen that once the order is placed, some sort of a WhatsApp flow has started to work really well.
Okay.
Meta has also rolled out WhatsApp APIs now.
Yeah.
So we have seen that if you can inform the user that you placed this cash on delivery order, this will get delivered in 2 days' time, it has gone for shipping today, you will get it on Saturday. We've usually seen that they are reminded about the order they have placed because part of the reason is many of these orders are impulsively placed.
Right.
Sometimes you miss out on the fact that the order actually came in at 12:30 a.m. in the morning when somebody was just scrolling their Instagram feed. They saw a nice pair of shoes which they thought they want to buy. They click on the product, they made the purchase, and by next day morning, they've almost half forgotten that they actually placed an order last evening.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why these WhatsApp messages actually help.
They do.
Because they also mentally prepare them. Look, you have a payment of 2,950 which is about to come into your doorstep 2 days down the line. You might as well have that cash ready with you.
Yeah.
Or
So
have
also, to add to this, I've also seen a lot of times that nowadays brands are also doing this, that, hey, this is a COD order. Do you want to convert it to prepaid? Then we give you 10% cash back. Does
Yes.
that work when it comes to WhatsApp messaging? Is it working? Like you are like one of
Yes.
Meta's best partners. So
Yes.
tell us more about how do we optimize our WhatsApp campaigns as well when it comes to ensuring that the product actually gets delivered?
Yes. So WhatsApp, definitely if you order discount to, let's say, online COD orders, there is some percentage of the customers who shift to online. I think that's a great way. We have
Right.
seen so many brands do that if you pay 10% now or 5% now, we'll convert that into a discounted order. So we see orders coming in.
You do.
In general, WhatsApp as a channel, just to talk about it, Meta has actually rolled out WhatsApp in a big way in India. And they have done 2 major announcements on WhatsApp. One, they have rolled out something called Click to WhatsApp. They call it as Click to WhatsApp or Click to Messaging, CTX, where you can actually see an ad on Facebook and Instagram. You can click on the ad. You can actually take the person to WhatsApp and you can complete the next set of conversion on WhatsApp. I think it works really well in 2 cases. One, wherever you want to get lead generation, it works really well. So if you are a real estate, you are in education, you are into, let's say, services, then this works really well. The second is wherever you need to ask questions and maybe get some customization done,
Right.
or get some booking done. WhatsApp has this incredible way that you can create flows on WhatsApp,
Okay.
where people can actually answer and then you can ask a follow-on question. Imagine trying to book a meeting, right? So you can say which day it works, which time it works, and the entire flow can happen. So the USP of WhatsApp over, let's say, a regular platform is WhatsApp has those back and forth communication which can happen. Most of the times our websites are not designed for that kind of chat communication, which is why in those cases WhatsApp does better than taking people to the platform.
So Anshuk, if a campaign that you're running for a brand is driving high conversions, but also has an abnormally high RTO rate, how do you sort of optimize that conversion, that campaign? How do you troubleshoot that campaign? And what should brands do if that is happening with them currently?
Yes, that's actually a difficult question to answer. So because see, once you are into a campaign, the point is bulk of the targeting happens using AI these days. So Meta sometime back rolled out this thing called Advantage Plus campaign, which is the AI targeting campaign of Meta.
Okay.
So if you go inside a campaign and you're seeing high RTO percentage, there is very little you can actually do to reduce the RTO percentage on that campaign. I feel what can be done mostly is from the platform side in that case, because the campaign audience is anyways controlled by Meta, right? The moment you have multiple campaigns, yes, you can do, because you can look at high RTO, low RTO and allocate budget. You have multiple platforms, Facebook, Google, you can do then allocation of budget between them. But within a campaign, I think the best you can do is exclude that high RTO audience, right? Maybe push the campaign into relearning. Sometimes the relearning sort of helps us, but these are the 2-3 things you can do.
Right. So you mentioned AI. Now that is what we have been talking to since the last 2 years now. And we as Fynd have seen a lot of clients use Fynd's AI photo shoot for doing their campaign shoots. We just recently did a video for Reliance Digital also, which was created within 24 hours via AI, completely AI. Yes, it was Reliance Jewels ad. We have done it for a lot of other brands. We have done photo shoots, we have done baby shoots. And nowadays, for me as a customer, I can actually understand whether an image is AI or not.
Really?
Yes, I can. And sometimes I can't also. So then I have to go back and check. Now, there are 2 things here.
Yes.
First is, first question to you would be, how is it working in terms of campaigns? Because you might have seen your brands using AI for photo shoots.
Yes.
Is this giving good conversions? Not? Can you give us some insights on whether brands should be using AI photo shoot or not?
Yes, absolutely. So there are some use cases of AI which are emerging very fast in our brands, the set of brands we work with. So we have we have some brands which are Gen Z focused, right? And many of them are selling T-shirts, shirts, trousers, these kind of products. In those categories, we are seeing AI has started to work really well. So we have a few brands which generate all their product photo shoots using AI. So they have, think of it as raw merchandise, which is a T-shirt. They would generate a model using AI, and then they would have the model wear the T-shirt, and then they would have these photographs put on the website, and they would run catalog ads on top of it on Facebook and Instagram and Google. In those cases, we have seen it really, really well.
The conversion is good. There is no problem in terms of conversions, because on the offside, we have also heard from brands that jab bhi they are using AI photo shoot, it's not working out for them. So, aisa bhi hua hai or?
Correct, aisa bhi hua hai. So there are certain, so the jury is still out that in what scenarios is AI doing better, in what scenarios is the original image doing better. I've also seen cases of brands which have a lot of good creator content. So we have an ethnic fashion brand, many of them, they have a lot of good content which they generate using their creators, using micro-influencers, using influencers, using store activation events. They have images, they have videos. Many of them have started doing video shoots also. And we have seen for brands which have a ton of content which they create during their during their launches, for them, the incremental value of AI is not there. In those cases, we saw that even if the pilot with AI, it's this content which does well, maybe because this content is still somewhere more original than the AI one. But at least in few cases where we had some Gen Z brands, there we saw AI content doing well. So I still feel the jury is still out as under what categories or in what brands would we see AI doing better, and in what categories would maybe a regular photo shoot may do better.
So you mentioned UGC. You mentioned that creator economies, again, we know it's thriving, and it's also a two-way sword now, because people are saying that AI is going to come, take away your brand, take away your business. And but I have seen on the outside, I've seen that whenever I see an ad as a customer, which has an influencer or a micro-influencer or a UGC content, I tend to trust that brand more. So firstly, tell us what should be the buckets. As you mentioned that when you're creating content, it just cannot be AI photo shoots. AI photo shoot can be a part of it. But what are the buckets that brands should go to when it comes to creating content for their brand launches, for new drops? Can you tell us that?
So typically when I look at brands, I sort of bucket them into 2 broad segments, right? One segment is anything to do with like health and wellness. It could to do with Ayurveda, anything to do with, like say, supplements. So these are those categories where you need someone to talk about your product. Now imagine trying to sell Ayurveda by showing an image of the product, the bottle image. It's not going to happen, right? So you need a person who will talk about your product, who will talk about the USP of your product, who will say, why should you buy this Ayurveda versus like 50 other Ayurveda brands in India? That is where, in my opinion, you need something like a UGC, or you need something like a founder-led creator content, or you need your testimonial content, which is also similar to UGC. Those are the cases we have seen that AI is yet to catch up on. I know there are some tools out there, but there we see UGC do really well, right? The other side of it is more on the fashion side. Now imagine you're trying to sell like a red dress. Now you don't need to talk about the dress, right? Pretty much people know that you can wear it to a party on a Friday evening or a Saturday evening. So there we have seen that it's not the voice which makes that big a difference. We do see it's the model who is wearing makes a difference. It's the video which makes a difference. There, of course, the influencer models have started to do really, really well, the creator-led model. But AI is also fast catching up.
Yeah, because we have seen a lot of places, we have seen a lot of companies actually sprout up who are doing these AI video shoots where you can clone a person. They have actually even cloned me a couple of days back, and where they can create a video of your favorite influencer wearing different clothes. It's actually your go-to market is faster. But has that worked? Has that not worked? What has happened in terms of running ads for them?
So far we have seen a lot of ads where background change has worked, right? Model creation and that same merchandise being worn by the model, that we have seen a few case studies which are worked. Mostly I would say in the men fashion so far and mostly in the Gen Z so far. We are yet to see that work really well in women fashion and maybe slightly in premium to luxury. We are yet to see that. I still feel that AI is fast catching up. So it's only a matter of time, maybe another 3 months, we'll have more case studies of brands in the mid to luxury space or maybe in the women apparel space using a lot of AI.
Yeah, and you mentioned that a lot of brands have now started doing store activation. So with Google's PMax and Google's local inventory ad, can you speak about how brands who have stores can actually do more activations inside their store? What should their strategy be? Rather than just focusing on one particular ecosystem that is doing catalog ads or doing influencer ads and redirecting them to the website. What can brands do? Because we have seen a lot of D2C brands now sprouting up, having their own stores. We have seen Snitch, we have seen we have seen What's So Blue, Why So Blue, we have seen Bliss Club, you know, opening their stores. And it's amazing to see that growth for D2C brands. So what is your take on that, and how does Meta and Google actually help, and AdYogi helps for brands in this manner?
So in fact, we've seen an exact reversal of it. In 2019-20, we saw so many of retail brands opening their websites. This was the early years of COVID. And just 2 years back, we saw a 180-degree reversal. So many digital-first brands actually open up their stores now. In just the last 1 year, a majority share of the portfolio we work with at AdYogi, they have really massively expanded their retail footprint. So I think the story is definitely moving towards omni-channel. I think two things which can now be done differently. Number one, for the longest period of time, people used to think of Facebook as a channel to get sales on your brand website, right? And this was the narrative till even as recently as 2 years ago. Now this narrative has changed. Now you can run ads on Facebook and you can actually drive people to walk into your store and make purchase as well, right? Now, what has changed? Why is it this now possible? Because you can actually, for the first time, send signals from your point of sales machine in your offline store and send it back to Facebook. There's something called an offline conversion API. You can send the same signals back to Google, something called a store sale integration. And that sort of helps us close the loop. So what I spoke in the beginning of the question, that performance marketing, you need to close the loop. So for the first time, you can now close the loop from online to offline. And what that enables brands to do is now they can run performance campaigns, so to say, for driving store footfall and store revenue. And this is a common trend we have started seeing. So far, the mindset was if you have retail stores, you should do offline marketing, which is TV, newspaper and print. Now the narrative is changing that if you have retail stores, your online marketing can actually help you increase your retail store revenue as well.
So Fynd is a partner with Google. So we do Google local inventory ads also, where we help brands take their store inventory and put it across the website, the Google. So if anybody searches for pants near me, so for a brand like, or if anybody wants red sugar lipstick, right? So they can actually find that product very, very easily wherever nearby that store is present. So I think that's very interestingly done by Meta and Google also. And how is, so if the brands who are watching this, if they are not working with AdYogi, what is one thing that you advise them to do right now? One is, of course, work with AdYogi. Then the second should be go to your ad partners and start talking to them about PMax and the Google store selling assist, right?
I think my big advice to them would be that now that more and more of Meta and Google are leveraging AI, one of the big things which brands today need to do is what they can do to make AI more intelligent, right? And the one thing they can definitely do is get the right signals. So like I spoke in the online world that you can actually do purchase and then post-purchase signals also, like delivered order. In the offline world, you can actually give back the point of sale signals back to Meta. So AdYogi is now become a signals partner of Meta, where we have integrated with some of the leading POS in India, and we send the data back to Facebook and Google. So any brand today, I think they need to just make sure that they get their signals is like 101. They need to get their signals right, and that will inevitably help their performance marketing campaigns to perform better. And that's one key area where AdYogi can also come as a tech partner.
Wow, awesome. So AI, right? Challenges in AI when it comes to getting to know the brand aesthetic and guideline. Where have you seen that? How's that work for you? Because AI right now is like, you're writing prompts, you're getting your images, but AI has to be fed that data. So do you see more of your brands coming up to you and asking you, AdYogi AI में क्या कर रहा है? Or with Google's Meta's Advantage Plus coming into the picture, how do companies like yours evolve in time? Because as people say that AI आएगा तुम्हारी job ले जाएगा, which I don't believe in. I feel that you have to adopt AI to do your work better. But what are the changes you have seen in your company to adopt these AI better, to help brands work on their AI ecosystem and make them smarter for the consumers?
Yes. So see, I will tell you this very good analogy. So 4 years ago, brands would come to an agency like AdYogi and say, AdYogi knows what kind of customers they should be targeting on Facebook, because they have been working extensively on Facebook. They know if Bollywood interest on Facebook works better, or let's say graduation behavior on Facebook works better, right? And this was the value add a lot of agencies used to bring in, including agencies like AdYogi. Now with AI, the targeting is become entirely automated. Today, there is no selection of Bollywood interests or the kind of Hindi speaking interest on Facebook. Everything is done by AI. And I also fundamentally believe that AI is much better equipped than a human trying to figure out who should we target a brand's ads to, right? So AdYogi particularly, and many agencies have now figured out what are the other niche they can work on. For us, the niche is more about how do we add more richer information to AI, right? Now, what kind of richer information does a brand need? For example, when we work with many brands which have large catalogs, right? So imagine you have a catalog of like 5,000 products, right? You have them t-shirts, shirts, trousers, dresses, men, women, watches. Now, one intelligence which we bring in is which are your categories which have higher, let's say, inventory? Which are your categories where you have higher gross margin? Which are the categories where you have higher average order values, right? So we bring in this information from different systems, which could be your inventory management system, which could be your order management system, your PIM, in some cases your product information which you have on your platforms. We bring all that information in, we give it to the Facebook catalog and Google catalog in a way that they can consume, and that helps us make the AI intelligence richer. So one of the things which brands do with us is they can filter their products. So you can say, products which have, let's say, dresses which have gross margin greater than 30%, inventory greater than 100, ROS greater than 3x. Identify these dresses, push it into an Advantage Plus campaign, and you can run these campaigns.
Right.
So think of us as sort of adding a tech layer on top of Facebook to make their AI intelligent, but not really competing with the AI.
Yeah, so you don't need a person sitting and doing this work manually. Here AdYogi comes into the picture and helps the brands to identify all their touch points, their IMS, their OMS, and it just connects them to give the best suited campaigns which can actually get most amount of conversion.
Yes, right? Absolutely. Right. And we have rolled out our SaaS tool here called as Big Atom. Okay. So anybody who has a large catalog, maybe more than 1,000 products, they can do their entire catalog automation using our tool.
Oh wow, congratulations on launching that. I think that's a great add-on to the great services that AdYogi is doing. Now coming back to, we went to a lot of brands, Anshuk. We asked them questions, and I was very surprised to know that brands have asked very basic questions that I need to ask you. Right? So now first thing that I want to, what are the categories that AdYogi works on? And what are the categories, first, can you answer that question? What are the categories AdYogi is known to work on, that we are experts in these categories? What are those categories?
Yes. So fashion, apparel, retail, I think these are the 2-3 categories that are really strong. Yeah. In fact, 70% of our portfolio is men fashion, women fashion, apparel space, including footwear. Okay. And then we do a lot of work in home as well. Okay. So these are mostly the categories which we have really known for over the last, I would say, 5-7 years. Yeah.
So now my second question to you would be that if a brand wants to start today, and you know that there is going to be a lot of disadvantage or maybe advantage in starting a clothing brand, or which is a category you feel that there is a white space here, or this is very crowded. You know, there's a white space here, just go to it, understand the signals that
Okay. Yes,
the
yes.
marketplaces or the D2C brands are giving you. Which category do you feel is up and coming in India right now?
So I'll take a slightly more, I would say, more zoomed out view on this.
Okay.
I think in general, e-commerce has become quite competitive in India to be in the last 10 years, whether it is across the brand website or marketplaces or even quick commerce now. I think I generally don't feel there are a lot of blue oceans out there, but two big trends I can double down on. One, I feel Gen Z is obviously right now the oldest Gen Z in India is 27 years old. They have just completed their working in their first jobs. In the next 5 to 7 years, they will actually move on to their second jobs and sort of move on to more middle manager roles in India. I think they will have a lot more disposable income.
Right.
So I personally feel, number one, I feel a lot of Gen Z focused brands or brands which can reinvent themselves in a more Gen Z way, or maybe they can have newer categories which can interest the Gen Z, I think they will do really well. For example, I have a lot of my team members who are Gen Z. I invest a lot of time with them, and they tell me that the new trend is all those baggy jeans. There's something called backprint T-shirts,
Yeah.
and a lot of them are coming back now. I think slim fits are, I think, probably going out of fashion now going forward. So brands which can reinvent themselves and have those Gen Z collections will do really well. Second, I also feel that India, in general, the disposable income is going up. So I have seen so many brands in the premium to luxury space which are doing exceedingly well. We have brands which are selling kurta sets for like 15,000, 20,000.
Can you name some of the brands that are doing like really well in this space so that...
For example, we have a brand called Malmal.
Yeah.
So we've been working with Malmal for the last 7 years. They have a very, very strong collection of kurta sets. And they're typically in the slightly premium space.
Right.
Average order values of 12,000, 15,000, 18,000. And they're doing really well. So India has a big market of people who are willing to pay premium pricing for Indian wear. And these are not like wedding wear.
Right.
These are more occasion wear.
Right.
So you're willing to spend like a 15,000 rupee for an occasion.
So I think for the festive season, Malmal might be a perfect fit when it comes to shopping for your occasion.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah?
And please go to Malmal website and purchase. It will also be increase our ROAS for Malmal. So to all our viewers, please, Malmal website is shopmalmal.com.
Okay, so I'll come to the ROAS thing that you said, but before that, I want to know that which performance marketing channels do you feel is fit for a D2C brand? Like, you know, there is a lot of confusion whether we should go to Google, we should go to Meta.
Yeah.
Now, with the advent of things that are happening with TikTok, as we saw in the news morning, we don't know if India can again get back TikTok. So where do you think where do you start? Like, you know, you are a D2C brand, you have already established your website, you have some presence on Instagram, you have done your 10 lakh sale already in a month. Where to next? Where do you put in your money?
Correct.
Or where do you start, in fact, for a brand? When they come to you?
Yes. Unfortunately, I think it can't be one platform.
Okay.
I think it has to be both. Because I personally feel Facebook or rather Meta and Google, they're very complementary to each other. Facebook is really good when it comes to discovery. Today, short form video content on Facebook is the #1 way to get discovered. So when you just crawl on your Instagram feed and you see those 6-second reels, it's actually incredibly powerful. I feel that's the single biggest asset which any brand, whether it is Fynd or AdYogi, should be leveraging as well. We also don't do so much of 6 seconds, which we should start doing. In fact, there were some statistics that there are 200 billion reels which get watched every single day globally.
Wow.
And there are only about 3 billion active people on Instagram, monthly active, not even daily active. So on an average, every person who is active on Instagram is watching 70 reels per day. And this is average.
Oh my God. I just need to go back and check my Instagram usage as of now.
I'm sure, Ragini, if you are active on Instagram, you would have watched 50 reels by now.
I'm sure.
And you won't even realize that subah se abhi tak it's like 11 a.m. you would have watched 50 reels.
Wow, that's a big number. Yeah.
So reels is very powerful. Google, on the other side, is very good for intent.
Right.
So if you know a particular product or a category, somebody is searching for, let's say, buy kurtas for festive, then your product can come in. So usually we have seen it's a mix of two which works well. For fashion, I would say it's more discovery. So 70% goes on Meta, 30% goes on Google. For categories like CPG, it's a lot more intent. So we typically see 50% going on Google, 50% going on Meta, but both have to be in the mix for any brand today.
And what do you think about YouTube Shorts? That YouTube is also now coming with a lot of shorts, right? And
Yes.
a lot of people, because in my feed in YouTube, I see more of shorts and
Yes.
then long form content.
Yes.
So where do you think that is going now?
Yes, yes. So YouTube Shorts is actually very, I would say, very closely following the Instagram Reels. YouTube Shorts also has a staggering number. If Instagram Reels is 200 billion, then YouTube Shorts is 70 billion.
Oh,
so it's
wow.
not too far away either. And YouTube has also moved to a lot of portrait, or I would say portrait content.
Right.
I know our traditional thought process is YouTube is more landscape, but increasingly YouTube has also moved to portrait. And all these shots can now be run across all the Google campaigns, whether it's Performance Max or Demand Gen. All of them now accept those short videos as part of your advertising campaign.
Great. So now AdYogi only helps with D2C performance marketing, or do you also go to marketplaces or help brands with marketplaces growth as well? Because I think one of the questions, or when a brand rather starts, as you mentioned that they were first online first. Now they have started going offline first, but they also want to go on marketplaces because there is where the most number of customers are. So what is your thought process and how does AdYogi help brands in that?
Yes. So ecosystem has definitely moved. So when we started, D2C was like the poster boy, right? When it was really big. And everybody was using Facebook and Google to drive success on D2C. Now the narrative has changed. Now you can use Facebook and Google, you can get people to D2C. You can use ad platforms, you can get people to walk into your store. And the third thing, which very few people know about, is you can actually use Facebook and Google and get people on your marketplaces as well.
Okay.
So now, again, I'll link it back to my close the loop. Even 5 years ago, you could have ran a Facebook campaign and diverted them to a Myntra, right? But the difference was, at that point in time, if you had taken people from Facebook to Myntra, you wouldn't have been able to know that did these people eventually purchase on Myntra. So there was no way to close the loop.
Right.
If you cannot close the loop, the performance marketing would never work, right? Now what Facebook and Google has done, they've gone out of their way to actually integrate with these ad platforms. So today you can run an ad on Facebook, people can click on the ad, you can take people to Blinkit, they can make a purchase, and you can optimize the campaigns for Blinkit.
So all these marketplaces have also now started giving back data to Facebook and Google. Is my understanding correct?
Yes. So it's not all these marketplaces. They've actually integrated with specific marketplaces because I'm assuming each integration does require a lot of effort.
And which are these marketplaces?
Yes. So today Facebook is integrated with Blinkit, Zepto, Instamart and Myntra.
Okay.
And Google has also rolled out something called Commerce Media Network. And Google has also rolled out with, I think, some of these quick commerce platforms. I think Blinkit and Zepto. We can cross-verify that.
Right.
So in both these platforms, you can actually take people to the quick commerce. In fact, we have a very nice story of a brand we work with. It's called as Nua Women.
Yeah.
They are in the women sanitary pad space. So they now do a lot of advantage of Facebook campaigns coupled with Blinkit, right? So imagine you are scrolling on Facebook and you had never heard of Nua as a brand. Now you really see a reel of Nua and you sort of feel, this is a good product, I can try it out. You click on the product, you go to Blinkit, you sort of order it on Blinkit and it gets delivered in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So from not knowing the product to actually having the product, it's like literally half an hour at best. So think of it as the awareness, consideration, conversion, all done in 10 minutes.
Wow. I mean, this is a dream for all the brands, right? This is
dream for all the marketers, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then marketers, brands, they would love for having these conversions. And do you think quick commerce has also helped here? What are your views on quick commerce? Because we have seen the sprout of a lot of fashion quick commerce brands. So there is Zelo, there is one more that I don't know the name, I'm forgetting the name, but what are your views on that? Have you seen any conversions? Have you seen brands talking about putting their products? See, we have seen Manyavar be on these quick commerce platforms. And do you think it is a good to have, or fashion is not the category that has opened up so much? What are your views on that?
So in fact, Manyavar is one of the brands we've been working for the last 1 year.
Oh, wow.
And we've also seen that they've grown substantially on quick commerce. I feel quick commerce is all about finding the right use cases. Right? Manyavar is a very good use case. If I have Dashera Puja at my house, and I don't have a kurta, which most men don't plan for, then one day before or in the morning of that day, I would just say, I want to get a kurta for my puja. At that point in time, I'm not very selective, right? At that point in time, my use case is to get a kurta.
Right.
I don't care about whether the kurta has this color or not, whether it is similar to what I wore 5 years ago. As long as it's a kurta which I can wear is what I can get. So as long as you can find those very niche use cases which are linked to, I would say, more urgency related, where you don't really want to get that wide width of options, then it can work. For example, even if you split fashion into essentials and fashion, which is what I've been told. One is essentials, one is fashion. So essentials can really pay very well to the quick commerce.
So do you have any brands, say brands like XSYX or brands like Jockey?
Yes.
We have seen their presence on quick commerce.
Yes.
Versus a brand like Malmal,
Yes.
which is fashion,
Yes,
and
yes.
that won't be. Do you think that is not the category?
Yes, absolutely right. I think for a brand like Malmal on quick commerce is going to be harder because they would definitely want to have a width. And I would still say there's very little use case of urgency when it comes to a brand like Malmal. So we haven't seen many of the brands like Malmal, Bunai, Acho, Suta. All these are large apparel, women fashion brands we work with. We haven't seen them go to quick commerce. But when it comes to essentials, we have seen Jockey. Jockey is really big on quick commerce.
Right.
And I think those categories can continue to do well on quick commerce.
Great. Okay, so we have a very interesting round in Find Out with Ragini, Anshuk. It's called Myth or Fact.
Really?
And you have to tell me whether the sentence I'm saying is either a myth or a fact.
Okay.
And why so, all right? Performance marketing is all about running ads.
Myth.
And why so?
Because it involves a lot to do with your creative as well. It involves a lot to do with the platform experience also. People just feel it's the Facebook or the Google campaign which is performance marketing. It's actually the entire end-to-end journey.
Okay. You need a huge budget to compete in the market.
Myth. Today we have seen a lot of brands which are really creating great content. And if you can create good content and you can post it on Reels and YouTube, I think brands can really supercharge their marketing effort. I've seen brands with very little budget, incredible content, starting to pick up really well.
Give us examples of these brands.
I would say some of the brands which started this way. So there's this brand called Suta, right? They're in the women's sari space. Yeah. So Suta comes from Sujata and Tanya. Yeah. They're the two founders. And they are like creators themselves. They create such incredible content. I know that they probably wake up early in the morning and then create some nice content. And content is what works for them. So they're able to supercharge their returns. So even with a smaller budget, they're able to grow very rapidly.
Wow, okay. More traffic to my website is always better.
Myth, for sure. We have seen so many cases where brands are running traffic campaigns where they start targeting anybody and everybody in the country, irrespective of the fact whether they have a propensity to purchase or not. So you will see a ton of traffic coming on your website, but the conversion rates drop a lot. So in India, definitely a myth.
Okay, and my last question to you would be, Anshuk, Google versus Meta. If you have to pick one, which would that be and why?
If I have to really pick one, then it will be Meta.
Okay.
Primarily because Meta is one of the most powerful discovery engines today. You can, like I said, Instagram Reels. You scroll on Instagram Reels, you discover so many brands every single day. I think nothing is more powerful today like a reel on Instagram.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Anshuk. And to wrap this up, Anshuk, the upcoming festive season, we have Durga Puja just starting in a week.
Yes.
And if brands are still not prepared, what are the 3 things that you would suggest to new age brands or to brands who are already there in the ecosystem since a long time that prepare for this, ensure that these metrics are sorted for you and you're good to go?
Yes. So Festive is actually very, very critical time for e-commerce. We all know that. We have seen our brands, if you just compare Q4, which is October, November, December, which is a mix of festive plus I would say winter/wedding/travel. This quarter can sometimes give as high as 30% of their annual revenue.
Wow.
Sometimes even 35%. So 1/3 of your revenue comes from this festive quarter. This year actually Diwali is slightly early. Yeah. Last year it was I think November 2nd or 3rd. This year it's October 20th, 21st. So festive is actually preponed. And in the next I would say 1 month, there's a lot of action which is going to happen. We have all the marketplace sales coming up like the Great India Festival and the Big Billion Day sale. So for D2C brands, my recommendation would be to start early. Right. In fact, you have a small window before those Big Billion Day sales as well. So you can actually go and have your 2-day, 3-day, 5-day sale events if you want to do that. But outside of sales, you've also seen new launches do really well. Okay. So I know we all think about festive as sales, but we have brands which launch their Dashera collection. We have brands which launch their Durga Puja collection. Like for example, we work with this brand called Swatantra. So every year they launch this Dashera collection, which they call it as Dasham. And they have a Diwali collection also. So they will curate a set of around 20-30 sarees, specifically for Dashera or Durga Puja or Diwali, and then they market it like that.
Okay.
So I think D2C brands has this unique advantage that because they have a relatively manageable catalog, they can actually call out the USPs for an occasion, right? If you are a marketplace, you have like a lakh products.
Right.
It becomes really difficult for you to curate these products. But as a D2C brand, you can do that. So to my request to all the brands would be that number one, get your festive messaging right. Is it sale? Is it new launch?
Okay.
Right? Accordingly, plan an event. If it's a sale, then you can do a 5-day event. If it's a new launch, then figure out your creatives for the new launch, figure out when you want to launch the new. And the third would be get your campaigns up and running just so that you don't rush in the last minute. And I would also say that focus on how much budgets do you want to put in. Because this quarter is the biggest quarter, you should also have your budgets accordingly aligned so that you can scale very well during festive.
All right. I think, Anshuk, today was a very interesting session for me also. And I think for all the viewers who are listening to us, because we got to know a lot of things when it comes to closing the loop and knowing your signals correctly. So thank you so much, Anshuk, for being here. And that's Anshuk, guys. That is the co-founder of AdYogi. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ragini. Really loved the session today. And I think I would just say one thing, that e-commerce in India is changing at a very, very rapid rate. I have seen the whole evolution from D2C to quick commerce and marketplaces in between, now offline. I think you just need to be, every marketer today or every e-commerce brand owner has to be on their toes so that they can keep up with the pace.
From noise to numbers, we learn the levers, unlearn the myths. Thank you so much, Anshuk, for being here today on Find Out with Ragini Varma. I have learned so many things when it comes to growth signals, when it comes to performance marketing, and when it comes to closing the loop. So I'm really glad that you were here and you became a part of Find Out with Ragini. I'm hoping that our viewers also listen and understand a lot of things when it comes to running your D2C brand in India. Thank you.